Hey, hi all. Welcome back to BRN Knowledge Center. And thanks for joining this session. So, in this session, I would like to explain the technology introduction part. And this is one of the topics when you look at the AEC.NET learning for Silver, where web technology is the key device for any technology which you are going to develop. web application. So, web technology includes two words here, web and technology. So, what is a web? The web is nothing but World Wide Web, also known as uh, WCC, right? World Wide Web Consortium, right? So this World Wide Web, also known as web, refers to that all public websites or web pages that users, right, can access on their local computers and other devices through the internet. So whatever content you are keeping in a web page, that content can be accessed by all users over internet. So those pages and documents are interconnected by means of hyperlinks that users click on the hyperlinks to get information via markup language. So the web gives user access to a vast array of content via the deep web. So commonly, these we use to access these web pages on internet that is connected by means of hypertext using HTML pages. That is hyperlinks or electronic connections that link related pieces of information in order to allow user to easily access to them. So basically, when we talk about web, so we definitely talk World Wide Web. It's a kind of open organization where it has all kind of publicly accessible web content and can be accessed by any user using internet. Okay, let me get into this topic today, right? And see like what are all the components involved in this, this of technology, right? And also we can see that how it is communicating between different pages, right? Or different web pages in terms of talking about this. Okay, so let me open the notepad so that you'll have some idea what I'm going to explain it. Because as I said, this the web technologies is going to refer to the way computers or devices communicating with each other using markup language, as I said. So it is communicating across the web and create deliver the content via markup language, right? So let me explain that in detail here in my notepad. So I'm just opening my notepad and see that how it is going to have it. Web technologies, right? This is my topic today. I just wanted to explain what is web technology. So as I said, this term refers, right, communicating each other to share the content or speak to other markup languages over the internet. So a web page is a web document which is written in HTML. That is what I'm going to explain that so a web page is a document which contains markup, right? Which contains or which is written in markup language, that is HTML, right? So it is said to have brought the world into a small kind of pieces where the devices can communicate to each other seamlessly. So when www has allowed for the access of information that would have been impossible to find or may have been difficult to find without the www, right? Because www is an open form where we have all publicly accessible content. So the term internet and the World Wide Web are synonyms, right? World Wide Web and web both are synonym words, right? Because almost these are same, right? So that means in the mind of a many, they have different meanings, but the terms internet, in the terms of internet, right? The World Wide Web and web are synonym words. The internet is a massive network of networks that connects millions of computers worldwide, right? Worldwide, so you can connect so many websites using internet. So computers connected to the internet can communicate with one another with a number of protocols such as HTTP or SMTP or TCP, etc., etc. So the World Wide Web is a system of interlinked hypertext documents and programs that can be accessed via the internet primarily by using HTTP protocol. So when you talk about the definition, the web technology, right? Web technology refers to the way computers or devices communicate with each other using markup language, right? So it is a communication across the web and create, deliver, or manage web content using HTML. So that means, so it is communication across the web and create, deliver, and manage the content or manage web content using hypertext markup language, that is HTML. Okay, and coming to the next topic here. So the importance of technology, basically using it for sharing and accessing and creating a web content on internet. That's fine. So there are some terms we used to talk and discuss in web technologies. So important uh, terms of web technology are, right. So I can say web page is one term, and HTML, right? Web server, right? And web browser, right? And URL, protocol, and internet protocol address, right? HTTP, and you can talk XML, and also you can talk gateway and API, right? So these are some of the terms we usually talk about web technology. These terms are going to use in web technology. What I'm trying to say here is, okay, web page, we already talked about it. It's kind of content which is written in HTML markup language, where you can showcase the links and navigate to other markup languages or display some information about or description about site. And HTML basically a text markup language. And web server, I think we talk about all these components in coming sessions. Web server is basically a place where you are going to deploy your web pages and website, and it is going to give you the a domain and URL to get access through browser. So to access the web server, or URL, we need a web browser. That's where I think installing and having availability in the client machines, and client or user can directly browse your URL from the browser using Internet Explorer or Firefox or Safari, etc. And they can see the content. So URL is nothing but University Resource Locator, where it is basically having kind of syntax. I think we'll talk about more on next sessions. And protocol, I think this is the kind of having the govern rules, which inbuilt having some rules inside of protocol, where it basically send a request to the web server and get the response back, and having some set of rules in it. So basically we use it to browse URL, and the default one was HTTP. And then again, Internet Protocol Address is kind of a protocol address we used to have it. And again, HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and XML. So again, kind of markup language, extendable markup language, where we can use it for sending import and getting response back in XML. And gateways, where we used to have some proxies and gateways to filter out the URL request and query parameters which we are sending to the server using a forward proxy or reverse proxy. And API, absolutely, API is nothing but kind of a program interface which is going to communicate between two programs, right? And it can be, or it would be in a kind of different forms like a DLL or EXT or kind of a DOM, right? Or a kind of a .h header files, right? Etc. etc. It was in different format basically, right? So we'll talk about all these concepts in coming sessions. So now some of web components I just wanted to talk about here is web page we talk about, right? And some of the components I would like to tell about is the browser because this is an application program for retrieving, right? Presenting and traversing information resources on the world wide web, right? So basically, the browser having kind of interface where we supposed to browse URL and get the information from web server. So this is a kind of information resource which is identified by an uniform resource identifier URI and maybe a web page or image, video, or other pieces of content getting displayed in the browser. So example of browsers, as I told you, Internet Explorer, Google Chrome, Firefox, right? These are some browsers. We basically use it, right? And coming to the kind of web server I already explained. So web server is a program or computer machine that generates and transmits response to client requests or web resource using HTTP protocol. So every computer on the internet that contains a website must have a web server program, right? Any computer can be turned into a web server by installing server software and connecting to the machine to the internet, right? If you wanted to talk about web server more on that, how the web servers are working, some examples of web server are Apache, HTTP server, web server examples, right? So basically, so one of the web server is Apache web server, Apache HTTP server. So this commonly referred to as Apache is a web server, which gave the initial boost up for the growth of World Wide Web. So in 2009, I think it became the first web server software to surpass the handle millions of the web pages content. So the server is aimed at surviving a great deal of widely popular modern web applications such as different websites on different web servers like Unix, Windows, Linux, or kind of Marvel Netware or Microsoft Windows, etc., etc. So another web server we're talking about is IaaS. This is Microsoft Internet Information Service, right? So this is basically comes from Microsoft, one of the components of Microsoft Windows, and is Microsoft's inbuilt server. Okay. Now the protocol supported here is HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, and SMTP, and it's estimated that around 25% of all websites utilize IaaS. Okay, and coming to the other concept I wanted to explain here is URL, right? So what is an URL? URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. So this URL is a formatted text string used by the web, right? So uniform resource locator, right? So basically, a URL is a formatter, right? Formatted text used by web browsers. So email client and other softwares to identify network resource on the internet. That is formatted text. So network resources are files that can be plain web pages other than the text documents like graphics or programs. So this URL string consists of three parts, right? It consists of three parts, right? So unlike the substrings, one is network protocol, right? And another thing is host name or address, right? And third one is it is kind of file you are going to browse it, file or resource location. Okay, so when it comes to network protocol, right? Again, it's kind of protocol you are going to use it. Like typically URL protocols include HTTP, you know, mm, slash or HTTPS slash slash. This typically you are including this stuff or FTP kind of stuff. Okay, so coming to the host name or address, it is identifying a computer or other network device. So hosts come up from a standard internet databases such as DNS or system name. This DNS and can be a name of system or IP address, right? It can be DNS name or IP address of system. And file or resource location. This upstream, this is something where you primarily looking into the web server to get the content back to the client, like the page or kind of an endpoint or kind of resource you're trying to feed to the web server, right? So that the resource is going to fetch the data back to your client. So these substrings are separated by a special character as follows, right? So these three parts are separated with special characters like uh, protocol, colon, slash slash, right? Host, slash, location. Okay. So that means this is one part, second part, third part, right? For example, so when I say example here, HTTP, right? www.google.com or let us say that example.com or let me show okay, some abcd.com slash organization or locations, right? This is my basically a resource location I'm looking into that. So if it is my website like brr.com, right? And in that website I'm looking for locations, right? This is my URL basically. Okay. So these are some examples about the URL. Okay. And other things are as usual, like a kind of gateway and API and XML. So only thing was web page and web server and web browser and URL are prime things here when you talk about the important terms, right? Web page and web server and internet protocol address, and here you can keep HTML, and these are the terms basically we use it. And web server examples, we can say that Apache server is the first, server introduced in 2009, and second was IAS, was introduced by Microsoft. And coming to the URL, Uniform Resource Locator, basically coming up with three parts, right? Network protocol and the host name or address, and the resource or file, right? Resource name or location to fetch in web server. Okay, so these three parts are separated with special character called, you know, colon slash slash slash. Okay, colon slash slash slash. These are the characters. Okay, so this is something about first introductory part of web technologies. So when you talk about any website development, you must understand what is a web technology. So here I can say web technology is a kind of reference for the computers and devices to communicate with each other using markup language or devices can be tabs or mobiles or everything via markup language. It is communi- it is communicating right across the web and create, deliver, manage the content using hypertext markup language. So web page is a document which is written in markup language, right? WW and web both are synonym words, and so many people are thinking that both are different, but it's not the case. So both are same. So this World Wide Web, also called as a web. Okay. So and some of the important terms we are usually talking about is these things, and web server, web browser are important along with URL and protocols. Okay. So in the next section, we'll talk about some of the other components in the technology, like how to write and markup language, and how we are going to browse it with some examples, and also we can see some scripting in next session. Thanks for listening to this video, and please subscribe this channel or follow this series to get more information on the technologies and then ASP.NET related topics with this series. Thanks for listening to this video. Thank you.